Vida. Let's get to meet her this morning. Without further ado, Vida is a certified wealth manager and financial services expert to high net worth private clients. Her professional career in the financial services ecosystem has spanned about 17 years, the majority of which was excellently harnessed within the Stanbic IBTC group. In 2017, she became a private and investment banker, providing niche services to affluent clientele. In a short while, she was flawlessly executed the responsibility of setting up and ensuring the smooth operation of the third private banking suite. In 2008, Vida transitioned in a wealth group and established the relationship management unit of the pension entity. She then served as a strategic relationship manager till 2014, established and harnessed B2B relationships across SMEs, conglomerates, federal and Lagos state sectors, respectively. A lot of things to really note here. But then another one, in 2020, Vida delved back to B2B arena, becoming a regional manager along with her wealth manager status, and successfully led the largest team of business development managers. She holds the role till she exited to establish 4th Avenue Limited in 2022. So without further ado, let's welcome Vida to the conversation this morning. Vida, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's really nice to have you here, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's get to it without further ado. You are a wealth manager.
Yes, I am.
And that is really important. Now, I've seen lots of Nigerians, not Nigerians now. Let's talk about Nigerians now. Let's talk about football. I see certain people who have made wealth in football, but at the end of their lives, they become poor. And it's always baffled me all my life. Like, okay, you were making several millions of dollars. Why are you poor at the end? What do you attribute such poverty to?
Okay, so before I delve into that question, I would like to say thank you very much for having me on this program. It's an absolute honor, and I appreciate the opportunity very much. Okay, so the issue of poverty, the issue of riches, all these things are quite relative. Now, at the start of our lives, and usually at the height of our successes, if we're not properly equipped, which we find that we often do not have the skill sets, the structure with which to make sure that the money that we make, or the opportunities that come our way, are well harnessed, and we're working with a preservation mindset, then sadly, life would happen that you get to the end of it and find out that you're left with an empty cup.
Mindset, because it's when people hit their first 1 million, they go into panic mode because they feel like, I'm going to lose money very soon, but I'm going to take care of it. So is there anything wrong with the preservation mentality of money?
Okay, so when I say preservation, I would look at it more from the position of not just keeping it, but being able to grow it. Right. Because if you keep, let's assume, 10,000 naira in your account, and you kept it maybe from 10 years ago. 10 years ago, 10,000 naira was a lot of money. And you kept that only in your account. Now you still have the same 10,000, but we know the answer. It's not the same value. It can't do the same thing that 10,000 naira 10 years ago could do. So it's not just about preserving, but it's about preserving and growing the resource,
the assets. So much. That's really very insightful. And that's the reason why people maybe fall into poverty in the end of their life, because they are panicky about their money. So they made a lot of money and they don't know what buttons to push, because they feel like, I remember a popular story by Usain Bolt, losing a lot of money to scammers. That's what happens that's what happens at the end of people's lives. So you have shed light on how or why people sometimes fall into poverty in the end of their lives. They're into preservation mode instead of having to grow the money. But sometimes the fear comes from, so growing this money, I might get to lose some of it. So that's where the fear comes from. But then another question I have for you here is, this is a startling statistic, right? The African Nigerian statistic says, according to National Bureau of Statistics, 71 million people live in extreme poverty.
That would probably sit in the neighborhood of about 60-something% outside of structured society.
Right.
Okay. The truth is, extreme poverty is not tied to Africa alone. It's not tied to Nigeria alone. We often hear stories about how the Western world, and in this case, I would just use America, comes to the rescue of, of other countries that seem to be, dying out and all. But if you go to America as well, there are lots of homeless people on the streets. You know,
you cannot. They do not stand on the same pedestal because I mean, according to report here, Africa is a poor nation. I got baffled again even from when I saw reports by Bill Gates Foundation that in 2050 two countries were responsible for the poorest people in the world by 40%, Nigeria and Congo. So it feels like there is no light at the end of this tunnel for Nigerians and Africans as a whole.
Okay, so I would like to just strike a little balance without us getting caught up in the middle of which country is really poor and all. My position is just that of balance, really. Without a doubt, there is data that Nigeria, Africa, we're not doing as financially well as the Western world, who have more structures in place than we do, without a doubt about that. However, that does not preclude the fact that they also have serious challenges as well. Nigeria is owing, so is a lot of all those other more established countries. So it's just for us to strike the balance. But then again, the conversation today is not really about the nations. It's about how we can do better, to position ourselves for a better last run of our lives. Yes.
Better last run of our lives. Thank you so much for joining us. We joined us for the first time again. It's still 16 minutes past 11 this morning. It's Ladder to Success, and we are talking about exploring the 4 quotients of wealth and financial capacity. When we come back from this quick break, I'm going to explore and get the conversation going. So let's listen to a song by Jay-Z titled "The Story of OJ." I'll be right back.